Hi writers, it's Mrs. B and I'm here with another writing mini lesson. Today we're going to be talking about poetry and a very specific type of poetry, a poem that is called an ode. Okay? An ode is a type of poem where you think of something that you have been feeling grateful for or something that you really appreciate, that you want to pay tribute to, or you want to acknowledge or thank or recognize. That is what an ode is. And because we have been doing so much work in our journals and so much talking about finding silver linings and being grateful, I thought it would be really fun if we could talk about odes as a different type of writing that we could include in our journals. So, to get us started, before I start talking to you about what goes into creating an ode, I thought I would share one with you. I found this one online, and it is called Ode to Pizza. It's a little tricky for you to see, so I'll read it out loud so you can hear it. It says, "Your melted cheese." Well, first of all, it's called Ode to Pizza. "Your melted cheese, so smooth and thick, makes golden threads that glisten and stick. Your pepperoni, its chunk after chunk, adds circles of spice with extra spunk. Your crust that crunches crisp and loud is puffy inside, like a cumulus cloud. Oh, luscious pizza, I don't think twice. I always gobble, slice after slice." So that is an ode about pizza. So now let's talk about the kinds of things that if you decide to write an ode in your journal, how you would go about doing that. So we've already discussed that an ode is a tribute to something that you admire. Now, another thing that I love about odes is that you have so many choices that you get to make as a writer when you are deciding to write an ode. And you know that I am such a fan of kids having choice. So this is great. Lots of choices. So you could choose to write an ode about a person that you would like to pay tribute or that you admire. You can write about a thing, like that writer chose to write about pizza, or it could be an event. I put a graduation or a birthday. It could be a sporting event, any type of event. That choice would be up to you as the writer. Some other choices that you have as a writer, or you could are that you could choose to write a serious ode, something that you would like to pay tribute to, but you feel very serious about. It could have a serious tone. Or you could choose to write a funny ode, kind of like that pizza ode. I think that one was a little bit funny and fun. That's a choice that you get to make as a writer. Your poem, yes, it is a poem. Your ode poem could rhyme like that pizza poem did, or it doesn't have to rhyme. That's another choice that you get to make. But the one thing that all odes kind of have in common is that you are definitely praising. You're like, oh, whoop, whoop, like, thank you, you're so amazing. You give praise to the person, thing, or event that you are paying tribute to. You compliment it, okay? You might compare it to other things. I believe they compared the crust to the puffy cloud in that ode poem, and you describe it. What specifically are you paying tribute to? Some of the ways that you do all of these things are that you speak directly to the person, thing, or event to which you are paying tribute. In that one, it was like, oh, pizza, okay? Oh, ladybug. Oh, soccer game. It's up to you, okay? But you speak to that thing to which you are paying tribute, okay? This is really fun. You get to use fancy words to describe. Odes have a very fancy type of tone to them, so the fancier words that you can use, the better. Another thing that I think is super fun about odes is you get to do this really cool thing called hyperbole. Can you say that word? Hyperbole. Go ahead, you try. Yes, that's it, okay? Hyperbole. And exactly, hyperbole, what that means is just a way of exaggerating, saying something like, I would vanquish if I did not have pizza every Friday night, okay? You really wouldn't, but you're exaggerating that to make your point about how much you love that thing that you've chosen to write about. So you can totally exaggerate in your odes. Another thing that you can do is you can repeat lines. You can say, oh, pizza, okay, how I admire you. You can repeat those lines, and that contributes to that fancy sounding bit of an ode. So would you like to see one more? I wrote one. And when I was making my choices as a writer, I decided to write about a thing that I would like to pay tribute to because I really admire it, okay? This might surprise you, and maybe it will not surprise you if you've been watching some of my mini lessons. So this is my writer's notebook, and I chose to write my ode to sticky notes. Let me just zoom in just a bit. Oop, that is too much, so we won't do that. So here's my ode to sticky notes. Sticky notes, oh sticky notes, I adore you so. You come in so many sizes and colors, my very own geometric rainbow. You help me teach my lessons with ease, precision, and care. A mini lesson without you? Gasp! I wouldn't dare. Sticky notes, oh sticky notes, you make my life complete. The rest of the world can have paper clips and tacks, but for me, you cannot be beat. So you'll see in my ode that I wrote, I chose a thing. I chose to be a little bit funny. I chose for it to rhyme, but I definitely praised and complimented it, and I did a lot of description. I also tried to really speak to my subject of sticky notes. I tried to use some fancy words. I exaggerated a little bit. My life really, it would go on if I didn't have sticky notes, but it was fun to exaggerate that a little bit. And I repeated some lines. So writers, this is a choice that you can make in your journal today. You can choose something during this stay-at-home time that you would like to celebrate, to pay tribute to, something that you admire. Okay, there are lots and lots of choices for you to make in your notebook, and I will be really excited if you do try that on. If you decide to make a different choice, that's fine. Remember, writers always have to make choices, but the most important thing is that you continue to write and capture your thoughts and feelings while we're all away from school and learning at home. So writers, you might want to pause your camera on this to remind you, or maybe even rewind a little bit or pause right now so you could use mine as a model. Those are your choices. So whatever it is that you decide to do, grab your paper notebook or your virtual notebook, find your cozy spot, and off you go.